Hi everyone, it's Emma from MSC Makes, and this is a tutorial on how to create this very lovely wave stitch. This is another great pattern for using up mini skeins. I'm actually working on a full-sized blanket version at the moment using my yarn advent from last year. You can carry the main colour up the sides of the blanket so that you have less ends to sew in. And the best part is it is incredibly simple to crochet. Please note that I am based in the UK and therefore I use UK based crochet terminology. This pattern just uses 2 stitches, a UK double crochet for the thin parts of the wave here, which is equivalent to a US single crochet, and a UK treble crochet for these taller parts of the wave, which is equivalent to a US double. To get started, you'll need your yarn and hook. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using some leftover sock yarn. It's 4-ply and I'm using a 3.5mm hook. I'll pop all the details of the yarn that I'm using in the description box below. You can use any yarn that you prefer for this pattern. Just remember you'll need to adjust your hook size accordingly. Okay, so to begin, we need to work our starting chain in multiples of 8. So I've just popped a slip knot on the hook there, and for this tutorial I'm just going to work a small sample just to demonstrate the stitch, and I'm going to work 24 chains in total. Once you've chained your required amount, we're going to add some more on. We're going to add a total of 5 stitches onto the end. This counts as half of a pattern repeat so that the beginning and end of the row match, and it also counts as a turning chain. So to work the first row, we're going to ignore this first chain here and work directly into the second chain. So I prefer to chain my turn my chain onto a side like this and work into the back bumps. I just find it a bit easier and it keeps the work neater as well. But you can work into the chain however you prefer. And our first stitch is going to be a double crochet. So we're going to insert our hook, grab that yarn and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And we're going to do exactly the same into the next chain. So insert our hook, grab that yarn and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. And we're going to do that for a total of 4 times so that we've got 4 double crochets. And remember, I am using UK crochet terminology. If you are used to US crochet terminology, that's 4 single crochets. Okay, and then into the next chain, we're going to work a treble crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And again, we're going to do that for a total of 4 times. So into the next 3 chains, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 more. So I'm just going to quickly do this 2 more times. Oh, well, not too quickly. So we've now got along our chain 4 double crochets followed by 4 treble crochets. So that's 4 US singles followed by 4 US doubles, and we're simply going to repeat that along the chain now. So we're going to work 4 double crochets along that chain, followed by 4 treble crochets. It can be a little bit fiddly just in this very first row because you're working into the starting chain, but once you've got this row down, it becomes really easy. Okay, so that's another repeat. So we've got one more full repeat left, so that's 4 doubles. Followed by, oops, 4 trebles, and you should find that at the end of the chain you have 4 chains remaining. So I've got one more stitch to do, and then let's have a look. Yep, we've got our 4 chains there, and we're going to finish off the row by working another 4 double crochets, so that the beginning and end of our row look exactly the same. And that's our first row completed. Oops, a little bit eager there. Like that one again, there we go. So that's our row 1, and you can already see the lovely wave pattern starting to form. Now row 2 is incredibly easy because we're simply going to repeat that last row. So to get started, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to work our very first stitch into this space here. So we ignore the yarn on our hook, we ignore the chain stitch that we just made because in this case it doesn't count as a stitch, and we're going to work a double crochet straight into that space there, and we're going to do another 3. So we're simply working double crochets into the tops of the double crochets from the previous row. So we're going to do 4 in total, and then we're going to work 4 treble crochets into the tops of the treble crochets from the previous row. So although this pattern is technically a 4-row repeat, I actually like to think of it as more of a 2-row repeat, because rows 2 and 4 are simply repeating the row that you've done before. And I'm going to just repeat that all of the way along. So you're just doing exactly the same as we did before. 4 doubles followed by 4 trebles. And I'm going to work that right until the end of the row. And then I'll show you what to do for row number 3. So I've just reached the end of the row. I've got one more stitch left, which can look a little bit different. And I'm just going to put my hook through there. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, but I'm then going to drop this. I'm going to grab my first contrast colour here. Oops, let me unwind some. This is all previously been frogged, so it's a little bit messy. And we're going to grab it and pull it through, and that's our new colour for the next row. And we're not going to snip this yarn, we're going to leave this attached because, as I said before, we're going to carry it up the sides of our work to save us sewing in unnecessary ends. So for row 3, we're going to begin by chaining 2. Now this second chain you'll want to make just slightly loose if you can, and that will make it easier when you come back to working into it at the end of the next row. And this does count as a stitch, so we're going to ignore this first space here directly underneath the chain, and we're going to work a treble crochet into the second space along. So now what happens is the pattern is simply alternating. So we're going to work 4 treble crochets. So remember that our starting chain counts as 1 treble, so we've got 1 treble crochet here, and then 1, 2, 3 that we've just worked, and then into the tops of these treble crochets from the previous row we're going to work 4 double crochets. our yarn is a little bit splitty. And now we're working our treble crochets into the top of the double crochets from the previous row. So it's still really simple, but we're basically just filling in those gaps. And you can see how the wave pattern's starting to form. So now we've got 4 double crochets. And we're nearly at the end of the row. I'm sorry if you can hear that. That's my dog trying to get into the room. He's not very happy at being shut out while I'm filming. So I'm coming to the very end now. So I've got my 4 double crochets which are going into the top of the trebles, and then I'm going to end by making 4 treble crochets. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oops, I've just caught my yarn a little bit there. There we go. And for row number 4, we're simply going to repeat row number 3. So we're going to chain 2. Remember to make that second chain a little bit looser if you can, and you'll see why in a moment. And we're simply going to repeat row number 3. So we're going to ignore this first space because this counts as our first stitch. We're going to work 3 treble crochets, followed by 4 double crochet stitches. And we're going to do that all along the row. So I'm going to work another 4 trebles now, and when we come to the end of this row I'm going to show you what to do in order to carry your yarn up the sides. Obviously you don't have to work this in 2 colours. You could do the pattern in 1 colour if you preferred, or you could do a different colour for each row, in which case you just have more ends to sew in, that's all. Oh, but you can always crochet over them if you prefer. I just prefer to sew them in. So when you come to the end of that row, we're actually going to be making our last stitch into the top of this turning chain here, so it can look a little different to the other stitches. So here's our 3 trebles. And then we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into this chain. What you want to do is do so that you end up with 2 legs of the chain on your hook. So let's ignore these ones here. Here's the chain stitch, and if I pull it apart gently, you can see that I've got the 2 legs of the chain. And that just makes it a lot more secure. And we're going to finish off our stitch until the very last step. So I've still got this treble on my hook here, and again what we're going to do is pull through our main colour, and it's still attached from the previous previously, and we're going to grab it and pull it through. What you don't want to do is pull it too hard. If I pull it in too hard, you can see how my whole work is cinching up like this. You want to make sure that that's nice and stretched out. It helps if you pinch it at the top here and then work your chain 1, and then that will secure it. It's much better to have it looser than it is to have it too tight. And then we're going to repeat back to the beginning of the pattern. So you would just turn your work and work 4 double crochets into here, and then your 4 treble crochets, and you simply keep repeating that and adding onto it until you reach the size that you want. So if you were wanting to make a full-sized blanket, what I would really recommend doing is working a sample piece like this. It doesn't have to be quite as big as this one. You could maybe just do some rows up to here, but you'll find that it's going to really help you, and it doesn't take that long to do and will save you time in the long run. This is actually what I did to work out how many chains to do for my full-size blanket that I'm making. So this is in 4-ply yarn, and what you will do is you will measure across. And now remember that your pattern repeat consists of these. So you've got your tall one and then your short wave. So that's your pattern repeat going along. This one on the end doesn't form part of that pattern repeat. That's just going to get added on at the end. So what you want to do is measure from the edge here up until this end of the repeat here. And you can use this measurement and how many chains you've done there as a guide as to how many you'll need to do for a full-size blanket. So for this full-size blanket that I'm making here with my mini skeins, I actually ended up chaining 140 in total. So this is worked in 4-ply sock yarn and a 3.5mm hook. I chained 140 in total for my pattern repeat and then added 5 on the end. So that's 145 your chain in total. The brilliant thing about this is that each stripe of colour uses around 4 grams of yarn. So you'll get, out of a 20-gram mini skein, you'll get 4 stripes, which is quite good, I think. And the blanket measures approximately 110 centimetres. So if you were wanting a project to use up your mini skeins, that's a really good way to do it. So I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you have, I would be incredibly grateful if you would like and subscribe and share if you know anyone else who would find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.